Busting it before I can even think back what I got to lose. If he bust a move, well, I got to do what I got to do. Trap rolling, bumping, always having something.
What up, TikTok? What's happening? This will be great today. My Radio Houston going down today, Monday, February 26th. That's 3 more days, man. This month's already over, man. We're 2 months in already. You're flying by. Let's go.
They say they lie, but they lie. So it's time to trap back, jump and get back. Hey, who that say I'm not? Who you know how to do? Seriously, I show you how to do it.
My Radio Houston. This will be great today, man. Make sure y'all share the live, tap the screen. Y'all rocking out with me for the next couple of hours, man. We're about to go in right now, man. Y'all stay with me. Link is in the bio. We're here live.
It's some people in your life that ain't no rekindling. Ain't no rekindling. It's over. You stay over there. You chose that side. Stay right where you at. I don't want no parts of that. There's some people that you can allow back in your life, but it's some people that you gotta say, them. No, you cannot enter back in my reality. You cannot enter my world. You know you can't even feel this energy no more.
Yo, what up, Houston? This is MrBeGreatToday on My Radio Houston, holding it down on the SDR network. It's Monday, February 26, 2024. Hope y'all had a wonderful, phenomenal weekend. We're kicking off the week today with the midday motivation with MrBeGreatToday. Got some hot music lined up, great topics, some stuff about mindset. Get your mind right to start off your week. But we're going to jump right into the show talking about the weather, man. We got some beautiful weather coming up here in Texas, man. I tell you, man, high of 85 today. It's supposed to drop down to about 70. The lowest part of the week is probably Thursday. We'll be around about 59, 60 degrees. But other than that, man, it's mid 70s, low 80s, high 70s. It's going to be a great week, man. Great week. No chance of rain until next Monday. We got a 50% chance of rain. But other than that, we got a great week lined up. Hope you guys are out there enjoying yourself. Get into that bag. Keep your mindset right. MrBeGreatToday is here to make sure you guys are on the right track, man. But we're going to jump right into the show. We're going to talk about a video that went viral yesterday, man. A video of Cam Newton getting into a scuffle went viral yesterday as multiple people at a 7-on-7 football camp ganged up on the former Carolina Panthers quarterback, causing him to retaliate and defend himself. Details of what caused the action to go down are unknown at this time. However, several former NFL players and other folks on social media are sticking up for Cam Newton, as they should, I say. Chad Ochocinco said, young fellas, parents need to understand when you have someone like Cam Newton giving players an opportunity to display themselves at this 7-on-7 camps, you are supposed to be taking advantage of these situations. Many of times I've seen clips where I've seen players, I've seen coaches, and I've seen parents disrespect Cam Newton at these camps that he put on. Shannon Sharp went on to say, Cam is a better man than me because the first time the kids disrespect me, I ain't coming back. No shot. I don't care what Cam's hair look like, how he dresses. This man is taking time out of his day to give back. Show this man some courtesy. Show the man some respect. That's the problem with our society. Robert Griffin went on to say, I just look at this situation and say we as a community have to do better than this. We are so much better than this. I hate seeing this type of stuff. We tear each other down more than we lift each other up. You look at a guy like Cam Newton, he's been doing remarkable things through his foundation to help give back to the youth. We got to stop it. We got to be much better. And I totally agree, man. I don't know if you guys checked out the video, checked out the clip of Cam at the 7-on-7. A lot of people are giving, the community as a whole a lot of backlash because of what's going on with Cam, man. Cam is going out of his way, taking time out of his day to kind of help the youth get to where he's gotten in life. And yet and still, people are still, ridiculing him, have nothing good to say about him. And now they've even decided to lay hands on Cam Newton, which is crazy. But I checked the video out, man, and what people fail to realize, and oftentimes that TV doesn't give these athletes any type of justice as far as their size. Cam Newton is 6'5", about 220, 230, and here you are trying to put your paws on this man. It's not going to work. This man is a real man. This man played several years in the NFL at a high level, and you think you're going to be able to come in and just manhandle? I think it was about 5-6 guys. Cam never even hit the ground. His hat never even came off his head, and they really embarrassed themselves trying to take on a man of that stature. And Cam really did his number and held it down and held his own. And I commend Cam on continue to try to pour into the community, pour into these kids, but yet and still things like this happen. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later on the show about the dynamic between today's youth and youth of the past, and how parenting comes involved into the play of that. But there's so many different variables that show us where we went wrong throughout our lives in our community, especially the black community. It's just sad, man. It's a sad day. You have a Heisman Trophy winner, national champion winner, NFL MVP come to your event, and here you are getting upset because you may not like something he did. And I think even in that event, Cam's team actually won the 7-on-7 tournament. And I don't know what, the details haven't come out of what happened, what caused this. But, just hindsight, just my opinion, I think someone's probably mad. Someone may feel like they were, unjustly handled in the situation. I have no idea. But it's saddening that we have someone, our leaders, our model figures in the community, and coming out trying to show love and pay homage and give you guys some game and show you how you can do to get on the path where Cam got on. And these guys take it upon themselves to fight Cam. And looking at the video, it looked like they were, parents. They looked like they were adults. It wasn't kids. It looked like it was actual adults. You had some young guys in there, but it's just saddening to see the whole thing play out in front of the whole world, that even in something as positive as a 7-on-7 tournament, that we can't find some good things out of it to make it better or make it justifiable of why we're doing these things. But it's a sad day, man. I tell you, man. In other news, man, I see also another video that went viral yesterday of NBA YoungBoy's wife, baby mama, should I say, Corla, shared a distressed Instagram video of her stuck in the trunk. I don't know what happened with there, but that's some crazy stuff going on out there. But again, man, it's a crazy world we live in, and we got to make sure we're staying mindful of our surroundings and staying mindful of what our purpose is in life. And regardless of all the bad stuff and all the negativity that may be going on, Mr. Be Great Today challenge you to keep your mind optimistic in this life. It's so many things that can take us left, so many things that can make us throw up our hands and say, forget about it. But I challenge and I implore my listeners that, take the high road, be the bigger person. Because at the end of the day, you want to treat people how you want to be treated. You want to put yourself in the best situation, because I'm telling you that karma is real. What goes around does come around. And that's why I challenge you guys to put out good stuff. Because when you put out good things and positive vibes and put yourself in the best, the best light and best situation, those things come to you tenfold. And so many of us, we focus on the negativity, we focus on the bad things, we focus on the things that we don't feel like is fair in life, and those things will definitely be detrimental to the life you're trying to lead. I was looking at a video this morning, and this guy was telling about how we're in assimilation, and he was talking to his son, and he was telling him, he remembered his son, at 16, 17 years old, talking negative about his friends or someone he didn't like. And his father quickly corrected him by saying, hey, even if something is done wrong to you, even if it's something that you don't like, don't speak negativity out of your mouth. You're sending negative vibrations out into the atmosphere, and I promise you, they come back. And that's why it's imperative that you refrain from this negative talk, especially negative self-talk, and involving yourself in gossip, involving yourself in the topic of discussion as far as what people are going through. That's why it's very important that you put your mind and place your ideologies on a high level, a high positive level, because I promise you, the more positive things you speak, the more positive things happen in your life. And some people say, hey, Lamar, it can't be that easy. It can't be that easy, Mr. Be Great Today. But I promise you, it's that easy. But so many of us are accustomed to the way of life. And again, we're going to get into a little bit more detail about, shaped opinions and how we're molded and how parenting and our kids are evolving in the wrong direction in today's time. But what is the cause? What's the root cause? And how do we find a solution to get past that? So we're going to run right on to this show, man. We got a hot track that Many of you guys, I don't know if you heard of Saha the Prince out of Atlanta, Georgia, man. He's been on the scene for many, many years, and he's one of my favorite artists. And I really want to give this guy a platform, and he has a good quality of music. Guys, speaking of something of substance. So this is Saha the Prince. Don't Nobody Know Why. It's a hot track. Y'all stay with me. I got a hot topic coming on right after this song. Y'all stay with me. This must be great today on My Radio Houston. It's Monday, y'all. Let's get going, man. Be great today. Peace. What up, TikTok? Tap that screen, share that live.
Don't nobody know why. Nobody knows why. Y'all still down in the streets and don't nobody know why. Nobody knows why.
What's happening? What's happening? Tap that screen, share the live, man. Saha the Prince.
Y'all still down in the streets and don't nobody know why. 38 snub hugger. Jealousy is a motherfucker. Sweaty kill they blood brother. All for the love of them. Money and gangs plus the drug hustle. But let me say this before the judge judges. Why must the thugs suffer? We already getting it out the mud puddle. Then on top of that, the flood struck us. Sober for them boys cuff us. Or we lose our life to these blood suckers. Rather meet the Migos at the Fudd Ruckers. Back when I had a plug on the little guys. Served it while the kush dry. Bought 2 but took 5. We call that paying hood ties. I'm from a place where the good die. Young turn boys to men. It's so hard to say your goodbyes. Many done took lives. If you died with your hood ride, the only time you got the goosebumps was at a book drive. Posing for my mug shot, make sure you get my good side. I'm just a head case, even took me to Scared Straight. Left the house at 16, I felt I was dead weight. But to the streets, I was fresh bait. So I'm riding through the 6 with my SK. Hey, try not to meet my death day. They killed my partner and left him dead by the expressway. Don't nobody know why. Don't nobody know why. Y'all still down in the streets and don't nobody know why. Don't nobody know why. Don't nobody know why. Y'all still down in the streets and don't nobody know why. We have lost a lot of beautiful souls to the struggle. To all my fallen soldiers, we miss you. I bought a few of my east side homies to help me relay my condolences. The legendary Jagged Edge.
I told his brother had a baby. Crooked cops trying to send him to his grave. Listen like thanks from my child. Crooked feds trying to give a nigga long time. The love for that black skin still a replay. Systematic corruption keep us in place. When we gon' have our day? When the sun goes shine.
Panhandler, hand-to-hand gambler, scam amateur, 7 grand scrambler. Had a money collar, Tahoe, and a tan challenger. Hit rock bottom, I swear you can't take this shit for granted, bruh. So I see everything panoramic, cuz one wrong move that'll take you off the planet, cuz. So I move around with the broom like a janitor. Pomegranate cannabis, caught up and ran it up. Automatic hammers tucked on every transaction. Extra package, yo, I might just get track it. Back and forth to Michigan, I want my grands rapid. Them try to write me out, can't even pay their taxes. 49, I was told to mind your business. I seen some Jehovah, ain't even witness. 96 Explorer, got so many stash spots. I told the cop you never find it like the Sasquatch. A good lawyer, lower cases if your caps lie. So I showed up in court, me and Matt lie. Beat the case and did the red top. If all my to make it out the trap spot.
Don't nobody know why. Don't nobody know why. Young niggas still dying in the streets. Don't nobody know why. Don't nobody know why. Don't nobody know why. Young niggas still dying in the streets. Don't nobody know why.
We was just some small timers, With the jail nothing major, we was all minors. They tried to tie one of us to the gun, but it's funny cause now all my is eating off China. Keep a stick for the haters trying to chalk line us. It was like hide and go seek, but don't let the law find us. I done forgot more than you ever learned. So when you speak on my name, put me up there with the Alzheimer's. What you know about me and your connect? At a small diner, talking murder over waffles and corned beef hash on the clear black night, like Warren G had. He was dropping off some bags on the corner he had. Some youngin' ran up on him. He had on the ski mask. My OG shot him through the door, left him on the street bag. Then he asked me for the check, but not an actual check. For those who not in the streets, just know that mean cash. I'm from where a zone is a zipper, and your tone is your trigger. Where your wife is your and your homies your. In my city, I'm legend. On my corner, I'm chipper. Running from the red dogs, we holler Clifford. I had all the red bras and all the strippers. We broke every fed law that's in the system. I had a dream walking out the county in burgundy slippers. And right before I was about to hug my sister. Hey.
Don't nobody know why. Don't nobody know why. Young brother still crying. Young brother still.
Yo, My Radio Houston, Mr. Be Great Today, Midday Motivation, Monday, February 26th, holding it down on the SDR network. Hope y'all had a wonderful weekend. We right back at it. We're going to jump right into this Midday Motivation, man, and talk about shaped opinions, man. So many of us don't understand how our opinions are shaped and how we evolve as far as a person with our thought process and our decision making in life. I was listening to a guy this morning, man, and he was talking about what has changed since the past, as far as have the parents changed or have the kids changed. And more times than not, I feel, and I was in agreement with this young man, is that the parenting has changed. We have become so accustomed to being our kids' friends, and we want to be likable, and we want to try to prevent any type of shortcoming in our kids' life that it actually hinders their growth. It actually makes them not really value life in a sense, right? Because, for example, if you take your life, for example, you take the things you've been through, the many challenges and the lessons you've learned, right? The hardest time, the most trying time, the most challenging times, your lowest moments is when you gain the biggest growth. And I think nowadays we want to try to prevent so many things from our children's lives. We want to give them everything that we've never had. We want to continue to, baby them and not let them see life on their terms. That we stunt their growth. They never really understand the struggle, and they take a lot of things for granted, right? For example, man, we got to understand that we take in information 14 seconds at a time over 55,000 times a day. And if you're not allowing your child or your offspring to learn from their environment and learn from situations in a positive light, you'll find out as they get older in life, they won't have good decision-making skills. They won't know how to overcome obstacles. They'll be looking for a bailout. They'll be looking for you to fix it for them. So many times with me growing up, I remember my mom was never on the teacher's side. Like, it was so many times my mom came to the school and I was at fault, regardless of what the teacher said and this, that, and the third. But you fast forward to today, parents are going over there chastising the teacher, telling their child is not wrong. Even to the point where people won't allow anyone to say anything to their children when they're definitely out of line. I was taught that you respect your elders. I don't care if they're related to you or not. They can be a perfect stranger. But now things have shifted. We give children designer clothes in elementary school. We give them the latest phones and devices. We allow them to engage into adult conversations. And that environment molds them into be very vulnerable when it comes down to adult decision making or young teenage decision making, and they have no gauge or no guides as to why they're dealing with the problems or the issues that they are, because there's always a fix it. Mom, them always bail them out. They don't have to work for anything. They don't even know what chores are. They just get clothes, they get gadgets, devices, technology at the drop of a hat without having to work for it. And they present themselves like adults in a sense. They engage in adult conversation, and so many times we build that foundation of life for our children, and then we wonder why, as they grow older, they don't have the intellect to act as a child or stay in a child's place and be a positive influence for their lives. More so, they feel like, I'm grown, I know what I'm talking about. My mom and dad, they raised them wrong in a sense. Right, and just for example, my daughter, many of you guys know who've been following me understand that my daughter was born 23 weeks premature. And my daughter was taken from my wife's wombs about 4 months early. And the thing about it is, the things that she would have inevitably learned in those last 4 months in my wife's womb, she didn't learn because she had to be taken out there and put into a controlled environment, the NICU, where she had to be incubated, where they had to monitor her and try to simulate everything that she would have learned in her mother's womb. Now, mind you, when you're in your last trimester, you're in your mother's womb, you're in triple black darkness. So a lot of the things that you're learning, you can't even see. Your eyes are not even open. And so many things that she didn't learn because she was born prematurely, now there's a delay as far as she hasn't started walking yet. There were some different things. Her hips is not as strong, but she's doing perfectly fine. But I say all that to say, a lot of times we prevent, or we try to fix the problem, or we try to adjust our children's life thinking we know better, when if we let things play out. Not saying you just let them go, but we let things run its course, they'll engage in life on their terms, and probably faster if we had not stepped in and tried to be the save all, the be all, and try to control their life and prevent them from any type of failure, prevent them from any type of shortcoming. So mind you, so even like my daughter leaving her mother's womb early, as she started to get bigger and grow when she was in the NICU, she had to learn how to nurse. She had to learn how to suck a bottle and breathe at the same time. A lot of times we take things like that for granted because it's so small. Oh, there's nothing, you can swallow and breathe. But if you've been taken out the environment where you were supposed to learn, where you were supposed to gain all these skills, when you get out here in the real world and when it's time to perform, you're not going to know how to do it because someone's been doing it for you. Because she had a feeding tube, so she never had to learn how to nurse a bottle and breathe at the same time. Unlike if she was in her mother's womb, the embryonic fluid that she would have been in, she would have learned the act of swallowing and breathing at the same time. That's how things work. A lot of times you can't try to control the environment, control the situation. You have to let your child grow through these things. That way, when it comes time to perform in the real world, in the real environment, they do it naturally. And so many times when children get in trouble in school or children get out in public, they act out because you haven't corrected it at home. You haven't corrected it in your controlled setting. And then you wonder why they go out here and they do stupid stuff, may end up going to jail, God forbid, even get themselves killed because they haven't been molded in the right way from day one. And a lot of times, like my grandmother used to say, you can't unspoil a child. Once you spoil them, once you set that standard, there's no going back and fixing it. And I think the parenting has made the minds of the youth like they are today. And a lot of times we blame the youth, we blame the kids. But Mr. Be Great Today here on Midday Motivation, I hold the parents accountable. Because had you let your child fall, had you let your child go through those shortcomings, had you not trying to make them be your friend so much, they will understand what the real meaning of being out here in the real world and acting as such. But so many times we try to control it, we try to mold it, we try to prevent things. We want to try to baby them all the time. There's certain things in life that you have to let people go through. There's so many things that you have to let them deal with. And back to the example with my daughter, had she been able to stay in my wife's womb, she would have had the nursing mechanism down. She would have had, her hips would have developed even more where she could walk by now. My daughter's 1 year old now, and she can stand up, but her hips are just not as strong as they would be had she got the full development in her natural habitat. And that's the whole thing when you're talking about when you fast forward into a child's life when they're 4, 5, 6 years old and you're trying to teach them and mold them to grow up to be, functional adults. A lot of times we prevent that growth because we're so accustomed to trying to prevent them from going through problems. We don't want them to fall. We want to try to give them everything that we never had, and we never make them truly work. Kids don't even have to do chores anymore. kids don't even come out of their room. There are a lot of kids that stay in their room and only come out to eat and use the bathroom, and they're back in their room, and they have no social skills. They don't have that. Even with social media, I think has made the kids more antisocial. With these devices, kids would much rather text you something than call and talk to you about it. And it's a slippery slope, and I know I'm preaching to the choir to a lot of people, but you got to understand that we got to take control of the youth. There's so many times we try to fix our youth, but by then it's too late. But we got to get back to the babies. We got to start at the ground level. We got to get back to the foundational of life, so we can change the whole narrative or the direction that our youth are going into. You know, we got to monitor what they're listening to, monitoring what they're watching. Be a true parent. Stop letting YouTube raise your kids. Stop letting the PlayStation raise your kids. Stop letting your friends rely on their friends and colleagues and whatnot to understand what the true meaning of love or the true meaning of friendship is. Because so many of us, we dropped the ball on that, and then we created monster that can't be undone. And I think that as parents, we are the first source or the first line of defense when it comes down to molding functional adults in this world today. And that's why there's a high level of disrespect. There's a high level of no morals, no values, no respect for their elders or their fellow man. There's so many things that we can work on, but it starts at the foundation of life. It starts in the early years. It starts as us holding our children accountable and letting them know that, hey, you are the problem. You did something. Just like I said, when I was in school, my mom never was on my side. And I could have been in the right, so to speak. And the thing about it is, I didn't agree with a lot of things that my mother did, or I didn't agree with a lot of things that she was trying to teach me or show me. But as I got older and I started realizing that, hey, mom had my best interest. And so many times I think as parents, we want to try to please our children instead of raising our children, instead of showing them that, hey, the world doesn't revolve around you. And that's why we got these spoiled kids that feel like they can say what they want to say. They feel like they can do what they want to do. They feel like, and with technology, they're exposed to so many things that at my age coming up, I wasn't exposed to. I was a young adult, later into my teenage years. You know, whether you're talking about sex, drugs, and you're talking about different things or elements that often frame the course of thinking for children in today's society. They learn this stuff early on. You know, even whether they listen to the radio or they're, on YouTube, there's so many things that we have to understand that is molding our child to be that inevitable adult human being. And that's why it's imperative that you as a parent, if you're a parent, stop being these kids' friend. Stop trying to give them everything you never had or you didn't get as a child. Start teaching them things that you didn't learn until late. It's all about making sure your child is a functional adult. And by just babying them and agreeing with them and let them join in on adult conversations, that's not the way. And that's why I think we're in this situation when we talk about today's youth, is because we haven't, as a parent, we haven't went back to the old, what they call it, soft parenting or whatever. It doesn't work. You look at society today, it doesn't work. It's about being firm, setting the expectation early. I got some adult boys, and when they were coming up, as far as like early years, I was hard on them. I would set the expectation. I disciplined them. I let them know I was in control. But as the years went along, then it was more of a friendship, and now it's more of a conciliary type relationship where I'm an advisor now. I don't have to try to discipline them now and they're in their early 20s because I did that early on in life. And that's what we have to get back to as parents. And we have to understand that these kids are not our friends, and they don't have to like you. And you know what I mean? It's not about making sure they have everything that you didn't have. It's about teaching them things that you didn't learn until late in life. And that's the key to it. And I really hope you guys got something out of this. Shaping the opinions and molding the minds of our youth is the most influential way to correct the wrongs that we have going on in today's society, okay? Well, we're going to keep rolling on into this show, man. We got some good stuff going on, man. It's Monday. We're going to throw it back a little bit, man. Got a quality artist coming up. Chris Bender, man. Who would I choose, man? One of my favorite songs, man. I love music. When are we going to get back to the music that shows love? When is it all about, camaraderie and showing affection as opposed to I got this, or sexuality, or, all about the bag and this, that, and third. Let's talk about, we need to get back to quality music that shows love and affection and appreciation for our fellow man. So many times we get caught up in trying to emulate these celebrities, to emulate their thought process, that we lose out and we miss out on the real quality of life. I remember growing up and not coming from very humble beginnings, but I think back on it, those were some of the best years of my life. Even though we didn't have the latest and greatest things, we didn't have the newest shoes, we didn't have the newest car, we didn't have even the newest, latest house, but we had each other, we had camaraderie, we had love, we had real respect for one another and our parents. And that's the key to life, and I think we're losing that in so many ways, and we got to learn to get back to that and get back to the old school way of raising our children so we can, prepare them to be better adults, man. And I really, really hope you guys understand that I'm coming from a place of love this morning. I'm coming from a place of change this morning because I want you guys to know that we are, as the adults in the situation or in the equation, we have the keys to the car. We are the one that got to mold these young children into great adults and making them better. And it starts with the babies. When you're talking about trying to go back and fix it later in life, it can't be undone. It's kind of like concrete. You got to get those kids when the concrete is still wet. If you wait till that concrete dries up and you got lumps and clumps because you didn't step in and do the things you need to do, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to change it by then. You can take a jackhammer and it's still not going to, it's going to take something dynamic in a person's life that didn't learn it early on for them to change in life, including myself. Like I had to learn a lot of different things by bumping my head, falling on my face, almost, embarrassed about some of the things that I did to learn from it. And had I had taken heed and stopped being anxious to know it all, I could have got it early on. And so many times, and I'm pretty sure you guys can agree with me, so many times your parents tried to tell you something or teach you something, you didn't want to listen. But then lo and behold, as the years went by and the months went past, you saw that mom or dad had your best interest. And so many times as children, because our minds are not developing till we're about 25, we understand that our parents had our best interest. And that's what we got to get back to. All right, so y'all make sure y'all stand on y'all kids, holding yourself accountable and stop being these kids' friends. All right, so we got Chris Bender, Who Will I Choose, coming up. Got a great Scarface and Kelly Price collaboration, What Can I Do? And we're going to keep it rolling, man. This is Mr. Be Great Today on My Radio Houston. Y'all stay with me, man. Chris Bender, Who Will I Choose? Let's go.
Driving me crazy, and now they know
bio, you want to listen live, man, this is Great Today, My Radio Houston. Midday motivation, man. Got some good stuff talking about parenting today. You gotta fix the problem, y'all. We are the problem, the parents. My Radio Houston, Mr. Be Great Today, holding it down on the SDR network. That was Chris Bender, Who Will I Choose, man. I love that track. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. But we got Scarface and Kelly Price coming up. What Can I Do? Another classic dropping on. Y'all stay with me. We got another show lined up for you guys the rest of the day, the next couple of hours. Mr. Be Great Today. Let's go.
What can I do to
Make it better.
I thank the Lord for every morning He allows me to rise. And though the sun is shining, there's a cloudless sky. Let me know that at any moment there can be rain. And as beautiful as life is, there still can be pain. Down the block, I hear the sirens screaming away. And then the inevitable happens. The end of the days, sad as it sounds. That's the price we all gotta pay. And the whole world knows God given will take it away. Living, I learned to sit and watch my cigarette burn. Down to the ash, reminds me of the now and the past. I save the oppressed, so eventually I'll stand in the path of the souls in the dark road that lead to the land. Bloody naked, clinging to life, unaware of his surroundings or breathing his right. In the arms of his mother, as he looks in her eyes, he takes his first breath and he screams. At the same time, another mother murders her kids, and the unbearable thought of this here just brings me to tears. It's hard enough we gotta raise our kids.
Link is in the bio. Y'all make sure y'all tap that screen, share the live, follow the kids. I love y'all, man. I sure appreciate y'all tuning in with the kids, man. It's an awesome Monday. Hope y'all had a wonderful weekend. I know I did. Ate good, relaxed. Now it's back to the grind, trying to get to that paper. I already know, man. But salute and shout out to everybody out there. Make sure y'all follow me.
I've been singing about my rhyme and the parent hurting this kid inside the time. I know it's truth in that statement. We just living to die. But I believe if you're living right, you live in the sky. Looking down on the good and the bad. The world as a whole. I hope to be you did what you did. You had to go.
Take away their fears. Can I ease the pain they are going through? What can I do?
I say goodbye to you, cruel world. I see peace in the red sky. I see the beast when the dead die. Relief with my head high. If the streets up ahead cry when the heat from the lead fly. The grief when I said bye. For the sheets on my bed dry. The turn of the table. Tale of the tale, the destruction of human flesh, the not so great. Long list of John Doe's that accompany the spirit. Empty yells, the soul's lost, but hope to God hears it. The resurrection of empty hearts, crowd in the room. Muffled sounds to the outside, echo the tone. I'm cold. Do you hear me? The cry. Do you hear them crying?
Waiting for someone to come and My Radio Houston, Mr. Be Great Today, back at you, man, with another functional midday motivation. It's Monday, February 26, 2024, and we were talking about shaped opinions and how parenting is vital for the functionality of our young adults in today's time. Earlier we talked about the viral video that went viral Sunday about Cam Newton getting jumped at his 7-on-7 tournament. And I think it all goes back to the parents. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, those look like parents that was trying to take down the big 6'5", 235 Cam Newton, and they found out the hard way that he's not the average human being. But I say all that to say that so many times as parents, man, especially in today's time, we molded these children, we sheltered them for so many different adversities, and then it plays out in the real world as we being their savior. We're trying to prevent anything, any type of wrongdoing in their life. We're trying to prevent any mistakes and trying to just step in and, being the Superman to their life. I remember once I was talking about, I have a young son who recently graduated college, and I made a statement on my social media platform that, parents, stop filling out your children's FAFSA. Let them fill out their own financial aid. And you wouldn't believe the backlash I got from a lot of parents saying that, oh, my child is not going to do that. Oh, I'm going to do it for them, this, that, and the third. But in essence, I'm not saying just let your child just do stuff with your guidance and with your you go proofread just like you do if they do their homework. A lot of times, especially as these college students, as we get these young adults, I'll never forget going on my son's first move-in day. When we first got there initially, they took the students and they took the parents and they split us up. And basically the message that they gave to the parents were, stop babying these kids. It's their job to make sure they got their FAFSA in. It's their job to make sure they've done, got their classes, drop ad period. It's their job. And so many times that as parents, we want to step in and be the one to be in control of the whole situation. We don't want to let these children or these young adults make decisions on their own because we feel like they're going to fail. But the key to life is failure. It's going to happen. It's inevitable that you fail. But as you all know, and as you all as functional adults listen on the sound of my voice, you understand that you learn more when you had to go through some trying times, when you had to go through some situations that were not favorable in your life. And so many times today, with our youth today, parents are trying to prevent children from going through hard times and heartaches and pains and shortcomings. And that is only crippling your child. That's only creating the type of youth that we're seeing in mass numbers. Now, don't get me wrong. We got some good kids out there. Our future is still bright with what we have going on with our youth today. But there's a lot of blemishes and a lot of room for improvement that many of us don't see because we're steady trying to be our children's friend. And I'm here to tell you, Mr. Be Great Today is here to tell you, your children should not be your friend, especially from age 0 up to about 13, 14, 15 years old. They should not be your friend. And even then, it's all about pulling back that being that disciplinarian and being so hard and being realistic with them in the beginning. And as they get older, you pull some layers back, right? And just reading this article from EmpoweringParent.com, it talks about the emotional role of a parent is built on love and affection, right? And it's essential part of being a parent. Now, much of the parent role is functional. For instance, like for an infant, that means you got to feed it, you got to change diapers, you got to bathe them, generally providing for the child on all levels. It means ensuring homework gets done. And for a 15-year-old, it may be in setting a curfew or something like that. But parents also need to understand the amount of emotional versus functionality requires changes over time. Just like I said, in the beginning, you want to set a firm foundation when you're talking about your children. You want to set those expectations. You want to set that firm concrete slab in their life. So as you start to build on top, some of those things you can pull away, right? Your child may not like your role. It's not up to them to like what you're doing for them. In essence, truly, your child shouldn't even like you for the first, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Because it's not about making you likable to them. It's about making sure you're producing a functional adult. It's about making sure you're equipping them with the right things and tools and attributes so they can go out here in the real world and, one, not embarrass you, or two, put themselves in compromising situation where they can end up, in jail, God forbid, in the graveyard, right? So, a parent, you may want to feel emotionally attached to your older child as your child starts to get old, but at the same time, the parent must do functional things that the child may not like. For example, parents need to set limits with their children. So many times, man, we just had Christmas pass. So many times, the child has been showing out all year. The child's been just embarrassing not only themselves, but you at the schoolhouse. But then come Christmas time, you're buying them everything and then some. all the designer clothes, all this, the newest phones, the newest gadgets, all these PlayStation 5s and Xbox 360s and all these different things, and they have not performed as a student, or they have not done the things they need to do in the classroom. But so many times we reward and celebrate mediocrity. We reward and celebrate failure. We reward and celebrate things that we know, had it been us and if we had switched roles with our children and our parents, that would be definitely a no-go, right? Nevertheless, setting limits is a healthy function, right? And you need to do this for your children's sake, because if you don't set boundaries, if you don't set expectations for your children, guess what? Someone else will, and most likely it's probably going to be the judicial system, right? And we already know how that plays out, right? Hard to find a job, even find somewhere to stay, right? And then it's going to put a strain on their adult life. So set these limits and boundaries. My good saying, like, if you don't tell your child what to do, someone else eventually will. So many of us don't want other adults to interject in our children's lives. They're so quick. Don't say nothing to my child. Don't you do that. Don't. That's my child. Don't do that to my child. And so many times that you got to understand, if you don't allow other adults, especially if they have good intentions, especially as someone who's not just blatantly being, disrespectful or being, harmful or hurtful to your children, a lot of times they're seeing things, because I'm going to tell you something, your children act a totally different way when you're not around. And so many of us are in denial in that fact, that all we do is come to our children's defense. All we want to come to and say, my child, that ain't my child. I never forget, my mom always said, yep, my son probably did it. He probably did, because she knows her child. She knew me in and out. She knew me through and through. And so many times in today's time, our parents, the new age parent, they feel like their child can't do anything wrong. Well, Mr. Be Great Today is here to tell you, your child is a whole different human being when they're not around you, right? Your child, you are your child's authority, right? That's your role and your responsibility. And if you're so flexible in your authority, you allow them things to slide, you allow them to say what they want to say, you allow them to do what they want to do with no recourse, what do you think when they get out into the world and they deal with other adults, they feel the same way, right? So practically speaking, your child can find another friend, and they don't have to, you don't have to, it's not your job or your duty to be their friend, right? Don't make your child your confidant. So many times I've seen so many instances, whether a parent is going through a divorce or a parent is going through some struggles financially, they want to vent to their children. They want to talk about the topic of discussion around their children, include their children, asking their opinion, letting them get engaged into adult conversations, right? I think parents often make the mistake of making their child their confidant. So when they say, I want to be his friend, or I want him to be my friend, what they're saying is, I want to be his confidant. I want to be his therapist. I want to be a person that I can vent to. I can talk to my child about what happened to be at work today. That's not the case. A child stays in a child's place. And I know it sounds old-fashioned. I know it sounds cliche-ish. But I promise you, it'll produce a better functioning adult in your child alone. You want the best for them. So you got to do the hard stuff first. And I guess what? I love my children. I love them with all my heart. But at the same time, I don't want to set them up for failure by including them in adult conversation, by including them in decision making. What do you want to eat today? So many parents today ask their children, what do you want to eat? Okay, so I'm old fashioned in my way, but you eat what I put on the table. That's why it's so. And I made the mistake even with my boys. My boys don't even eat vegetables now. My older son, because I didn't force them to. Because I didn't want to be hard on them. I didn't want to, and now they don't even hardly eat vegetables, which is essential to our body and our growth. You know what I mean? Thanksgiving, they got a plate of macaroni and cheese. They eat chicken strips every day, And so many times, that's just an example that we have to stop allowing our children to be included in decision making in their lives, whether it be what they want to eat, whether it be, where they want to go on vacation. Look, you are the parent, you are the adult. So I need you to act as such. And you'll thank me later, because you'll understand that your children understands boundaries. Your children understand that they are not in control. And you, even as adult, in today's time, in a lot of instances, you're not in control. When you go to work, you're not in control. When that tax bill come around, you're not in control. When that mortgage come around, you got to pay that, regardless if you want to or not. Or you got consequences and repercussions to face, right? And here's a big one right here. Don't criticize your child's school or teacher in front of them. There's so many parents that it's some teachers that I did not like when my boys were in school. And I'm pretty sure there's some teachers that you don't like with your child. But if you got something negative to say, or if you got something that you don't like about that teacher in school, please don't voice it to your child, because guess what that child is going to do? Go right to the school and regurgitate everything you just said, and a lot of times with a little bit more sassiness and a lot more action, right? So I challenge you guys to, if you got something critical to say about your child's school, something about their teacher, do not voice it around them. In essence, even if you don't like it, I need you to be on that teacher's side, because I promise you, more times than not, your child is in the wrong. And even if they're not, they got to understand that even if you are not in the wrong, even as an adult, we all know if the cop says something, in most cases, you know what I mean, it sticks, especially where I'm from, you know what I mean? But it's just an example that a lot of times you can be in the right, and if someone else said you're in the wrong, I didn't run that red light. Well, you're getting a ticket anyway. And a lot of times we set our children up for failure by telling them, oh no, you were right, and you make sure you let that, you tell that teacher this. You're creating a monster, right? You create a monster, right? And thirdly, look, don't share too much with your child. I think you can share some things with your children without turning them into a confidant. But you have to be careful, right? One of the things you can share with your child statement is, we can't afford that, right? That's a factual statement. We can't afford that. We can't do that. But what you shouldn't share with your child is, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent this month. That's something a child is not prepared to handle emotionally, all right? It makes them anxious. It makes them think about life as it being so hard. If it's adult conversation and adult situations should be dealt with adults only, all right? Kids have enough fear and anxiety to deal with peer pressure and all these other things, and we don't need to include that into their small, undeveloped minds, right? And so I think you need to be a parent to your child and be loving and caring and responsible, but find your confidence and your venting and your outlet. Go get a therapist, go talk to your sister, your brother, whomever, but not to your child, not your problems, not your issues. It's not to dump it off on your kid, right? Leave your personal history out of parenting. So many of us sometimes glorify the hardships or glorifying our heyday to our children, especially the negative aspects of it. Now, I can understand if you was a bad, football player or basketball player, I get that. But if you remember a time, I used to beat people down, or I was a rough cut, or I ain't take no junk, or this, because all that does is make your child idolize that version of you. When in essence, all you were trying to do now is remove yourself from that situation more times than not. A lot of times our past is something that we've learned from, we had to grow through, but it's not time for you to revisit that with your children. Parents, we often overcompensate for problems that we remember from our own childhood. Even trauma. Like if you got childhood trauma that you had to deal with, you might want to go talk to a therapist, and your child is not your therapist. For example, if you were wild and out of control, you may be overly strict with your child because you don't want your child to be wild and out of control. You don't want. It's so many things that we try to place past situation on our present situation, especially when it comes to our children, because we don't want our children to make the mistakes that we made. But look where it got you. So many of us, we wouldn't be where we are today had not we went through those different changes and challenges. Right? And you got to allow your children to grow through those things sometimes. I'm saying that. I'm not just saying let your child go and let them go out there and just embarrass themselves and hurt themselves or cause hurt, harm, and danger to you and their family. But I'm saying you got to allow them to go through different situations in life to where they got to experience the thought of failure, the thought of shortcoming, the thought of even sometimes embarrassment. So that way, as they continue to grow through things, they become more equipped to handle them as they come in the future. If you're always stepping in and being that Superman to their life and their problems, they're never going to learn. And then we come out here and we have children like a lot of our children youth today, right? The goal of an adolescent kid is to separate from their parents, right? And the psychology, we call it individualism, right? Individually refers to the process when a person achieves a sense of individuality separate from the identities of others. So many of us, we did not want to be like our parents. And guess what? Your children are the same thing. But individuality is actually healthy. So there's always this tug and pull, this kind of, kids think they know better, parents know we know better, and that's a healthy relationship. If you and your child are on the same page on everything, or y'all agreeing on everything, or you agreeing with them, that's a recipe for disaster because it shows no versatility when you're talking about living in real world situations, right? Understand that your child needs to separate from you and become independent one day. So for them to have that independent thought and thinking they know, that's a good thing in a sense because you're not in agreement on everything. I can barely remember anything me and my parents agreed on when I was coming up. But then it kind of switched as I got older. Then I started seeing for myself, especially when I started having children, that okay, now I get it. Because again, like I said, our minds have not really fully developed until about age 25 when you're talking about young men. I think our counterpart women maybe be a little, maybe 21, 22. But I just want you guys to be careful when you're talking about having this camaraderie or having this whole situation of raising your children, and you're trying to, be this perfect parent. You're trying to create this perfect environment for your children. It's not healthy and it's not realistic. It's not realistic when you're talking about there is hurt, harm, and danger out here in the real world. So if you create a false sense of reality and you're trying to give them everything and fix everything and make everything perfect for them, you're setting them up for failure. All right, and I promise you, you'll get more out of it later when you realize that I was hard and I was firm in the beginning. And I'm not just saying let's be abusive or abrasive to your child, but I'm saying be firm. Set expectations for yourself and them. And you'll find out that they come out a better young adult human being in life because they had to deal with that uncomfortableness. They had to deal with that adversity on their own. All right? So we're going to keep this show rocking, man. We're going to keep it rolling, man. We got it sponsored today by MrBeGreatToday. The book is on Amazon. Self-titled book, self-help book, big book of positivity. You can find it on Amazon. Be Great Today, all one word. The link is actually in my bio on all my social media platforms. MrBeGreatToday on TikTok, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. So y'all make sure y'all go check out that book. It's a great book. Got big letters. You don't even have to wear your glasses when you read it, right? Definitely go check it out, man. It's actually on sale right now, 50% off. You guys definitely will enjoy that read. Give you some of my life experiences, some of my life issues, some of these things I had to grow through as well to help you understand more about who I am as a person, and also can probably help you out in some similar situations that you may be dealing with. But yeah, y'all stay with the kid. Y'all stay rocking with me. I'm gonna be here for the next hour or so, holding it down on MyRadioHouston, man. It's a beautiful day over the sunny skies over Houston. A little cloudy, overcast today, but we're supposed to get up into the high 85. Probably the low part of the week is going to be Thursday when it's about 60 degrees. But other than that, we're going to have a beautiful week. Just like this weekend was just phenomenal. Beautiful, beautiful day. So y'all stay rocking with the kid. We got Lil Webby coming up. She Knows She Bad, Migos, Slippery, 8-Ball, MJG, Throwback, You Don't Want No Drama, and much, much more. Y'all stay rocking out with the kid. This is Mr. Be Great Today on My Radio Houston, holding it down on the SDR network. And y'all stay with me. Let's go.
Say that's her. That's her. When they say show, she know she bad. She know she bad.
Y'all make sure y'all tap that screen, man. Share the live. Tap the screen.
She know she bad. Check it. She got her own crib. She got her own whip. She got her own flip, so she take her own trip. She got her own swag. She buy her own bag. And when she hit the mall, man, she pop her own tag. And she so pretty, I did it. She don't need no meal. And when she in the club, dog, she buy her own liquor. I mean her own bottle. Inhale it in the air. She throw the own one like hell yeah. Look at her walk. She look just like a diva. If she was a scale, then she'll be off the meter. You know what she say. Money ain't a thing. And when she take me out to eat, she buy the whole thing. That's her, that's her, that's her. Say that's her.
I see you, shout it. Must be great today holding it down, man. That's her, man. I already see. I see you, Miss King.
She know she bad. She know she bad.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's part of the problem. What I'm talking about, man. They jumping on Cam like Cam is there to help, and I think a lot of it comes from these parents, man, setting these high expectations for these kids. They think their kids are already NFL made, and that's the reason why they act in that way. And I think, in essence, some of those people in that fight were parents or coaches. I seen a couple young cats in there, one of the last ones come in, and they found out real quick that 6'5", 235 ain't the average Joe. And Cam hat didn't come off, he didn't even hit the ground. So, trust me, they understand, man. I think a lot of that has to do with the way, these parents, especially these athletes' parents, they got these high expectations. They think their kid already in the NFL, and they want the coaches to treat them like they are, and they ain't even out of high school yet. So that's some crazy. I talked about that earlier on the show about how these kids that just tried to jump on Cam, man. Come on, man. 6'5", 2 plus. They found, and then Cam, if you look at the video, Cam didn't even really fight back. I don't even think he really threw a swing. You feel what I'm saying? And here they come trying to, I don't know, it ain't really, they really didn't get into, what's the reason behind it. They ain't get into the reason of what happened and why it transpired like it did. But I'm pretty sure it was something doing with a parent and a child. They felt some type of way, whether their child lost or their child didn't get to play. And I'm pretty sure that's probably something that happened. And it's crazy, man. And that goes back to what I was just talking about, man. We got an issue in today's society, man. A lot of times people don't really want to be honest about it. They want to say the kids are bad now. These kids crazy. These kids doing everything. But I'm a firm believer that the parents are the problem in today's world. These parents, they parenting children like they're their friend. They're allowing their children to engage in adult conversation. They're allowing their children to dress like they grown. Little girls wearing weave. Little boys got their pants hanging off their butt. They wearing designer. Ain't worked a day in their life. And all they do is just wake up and go and be draped up and dripped out. And so many of us, as parents, we gotta hold ourselves accountable. We can't just look at the kids and say, "Ooh, look at this. Look what they doing. Look at all that." That's us as parents. So we gotta do better, parents. You know what I mean? Be firm with them kids. And so many times, if you look at the birth of a child, a lot of times as the infants come out, notice how the doctor handles the baby. The doctor handles the baby all up and down, round and round. And that, you know what I mean? Them kids can handle more than we think. Soft parenting definitely is, correct? This will be great today. MyRadioHouston, man. We got Slippery Migos, man. We rolling out, man. Y'all stay with me. We got another hour rocking it out with Mr. Be Great Today, man. I hope y'all enjoying the show. Got a good conversation going on in my TikTok live, man. Shout out to my boy Tony Head. What's happening, man? Stay down with your boy over there in Mactown, Georgia. But yeah, man, we got Migos there, man. Y'all stay rocking with me. Mr. Be Great Today. Peace. But yeah, man, that's soft parenting. Everybody want to be politically correct when it comes down to these children. Allowing children, all this stuff plays a role in it. My child can decide what they want to be. Whether it be gender, sexuality, they can say what they want to say as an undeveloped mind, which is the most asinine and crazy thing. So you're allowing your children to hold the keys to the car when they talking about their life. They don't even know what life is at this point, right? And that's just one example of how this soft parents and how we're allowing children to control the household, what they gonna eat, what they will and won't wear, the types of, there's just so many. You've seen it on social media. Parents buy a child a car and they don't want it. I didn't care what kind of car I got when I first got one. Just give me something with some wheels on it. But nowadays they got such a high level of a sense of entitlement that we have created in them now. The parent created that sense of entitlement, and they've allowed these children to rap it. And now that that it infested into a monster of something that can't be undone. You can't go back and unspoil a child, as my grandmother once said. You can't go back and change something that's already been placed into cement as far as the foundation. And so many people don't understand that they really think that they're doing these kids some justice. They think I'm giving them everything I never had. I'm setting them up for success. No, you're creating a monster that so many people are suffering from that respond to even adults in general. You know, students fighting teachers, stuff like if I ever raise let alone raise my voice, but if I ever raise my hand at another adult as a child, just the thought of that, you know, I ain't got to tell you what would happen to you. You could use your imagination what would probably happen to me. But it's the parents' fault. You know, I'm not gonna place blame on these children because they know no better. All they know is being included in adult situations or adult conversations. All they know is I'm grown. This is that my mama told, you know, just like the whole situation with a lot of these kids with the phones. You know, they're in class and teacher say, look, give me the phone. Oh, no, you ain't get my phone. Then they'll call their parents. What, give my child back his phone. I pay that phone bill. That. You see, if I did something wrong, and if a child is doing something wrong within, you know, the school setting, in the neighborhood, or just out in general in public, you got to have that. If they're not exuding that behavior at home, that lets you know how they act in public. If they're acting, now again, I know some kids they turn from, you know, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde when they get off around their parents. I understand that, I get that, but it shouldn't be a big gap. If they go from, you know, being you know, disrespectful at home, just think about how disrespectful they're gonna be in the public. If they go from, you know, sass mouthing, you know what I mean, talking slick. Me, I learned I would say all kind of stuff about my mama under my breath or back in my room. You know what I mean? But to voice that out, I couldn't even say what to my mom. Man, it was ma'am, ma'am. Nowadays, what? Yeah, huh? Man, please, I be picking my mouth up off the floor. And so many times, people let little stuff like that slide. And you let little stuff like that slide, you already know if you give a child an inch, they're gonna take a whole mile. So it's as parents out there, it's very important that you nip that stuff in the bud and you knock that stuff out right in the beginning. Because if you allow it to, you let little stuff slide, you let little stuff go, it's gonna snowball effect into something big. It's gonna snowball into something big, and not only are they gonna embarrass themselves, they're gonna embarrass you. And a lot of times parents want to save face. They save face, so they want to come to the school and justify their child's behavior by telling them, that's my child. You know, coming in there with a whole attitude. Onto my dog, it's been some times, me coming up, and I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all can attest to it. Every time my mama went to that schoolhouse, she was on the teacher's side. I don't care what happened, what transpired, she was on that teacher's side. Yo, my radio Houston, MrBeGreatToday. You don't want no drama. Classic 8 Ball of MJG. Y'all stay with me for the next hour. We rolling out. Be great today. Peace. But, you know what I mean? So nowadays, these kids act like as if they got to say so in the whole scenario. They feel like they know they got backup coming. They got somebody, me, and a lot of my friends that coming up, please don't call home. Okay, I'll straighten up. I do right. And get what the teacher do, call home anyway. And not only, you probably got it, and then, you know, they had corporal punishment in school. You could get a paddle. You know, when they took things like that away, and now people feel like, oh, nobody better not put their hands on my child. Nobody better not say nothing to my child. And that's the mentality that a lot of parents have. Oh, you better not say nothing to that's my child. That's a child. That's a child. And you saying all this in front of the child. A lot of them, they saying all this right in front of the child, right? And then guess what, that perpetuates out to the child, like, oh, I got my army coming with me. You better not say that to me. My mama gonna come up here and show it out. Cause my mama gonna side with me, cause that's my friend. You know what I mean? And you creating a straight monster. You creating a straight monster that is all it's gonna do is put your children in a worse situation than they already in. And so many of us don't get it. And I understand, man, trust me, especially us in our middle age, I'm in my 40s, right? And we come from very humble beginnings. We come from situations, we come from a time we didn't have a whole lot. You know what I mean? We didn't have the best clothes. We didn't have all that stuff. And trust me, I wanted better for my children. I wanted to make sure they have a better life, make sure they have better things and all that stuff, because as a child, you understand how peer pressure and that's why I became like a funny man in school, because I had to try to tell jokes to keep people off of me. You know what I mean? I got patches in my pants. I'm wearing the same shirt I had on Monday. I'm wearing it on Friday. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't get but one pair of school shoes a year, and I had to try to be the funny man to keep them off of me. So with my children, as I start having children, I want to try to give them, better things than I had. But at the same time, I was a young parent. You know what I mean? I was 19, 20 years old when I started having kids. So I don't think the old school era versus the soft era. No, because the old school era, they put that belt on you. You know what I mean? They would tell you, they would hurt your feelings. You know what I mean? Nobody care about your feelings as a child. And I get it. A lot of people now, that's traumatized and did that. Man, you listen here. Either you gonna give them some hard love or some tough love, or the judicial system will. Which one you can't have both. If you don't give it to them now, the prison system gonna give it to them later. If you don't allow the school or another adult in the neighborhood who has good intentions to correct your child when they wrong, then guess what you're doing? You're creating a monster. You're creating something that's gonna very well not only hurt you, but gonna hurt them in the long run, man. There's so many instances where I can say, man, and I can tell you, disrespect for children. I don't care what nobody say. Every person I've known growing up, friends, siblings, that was disrespectful to their parents, they had a tough life. A lot of them ain't here. And just think about it. It's not about just being disrespectful to your parents, but being disrespectful to your elders in general. These kids nowadays don't have respect, not only for their parents, but no adult. Because ain't nobody teaching that at home. They know, you can't say that. You ain't my mama. I wish I might say that to somebody as a child. I might get, you know what I mean? I didn't come in the era where the neighbors, whoop you behind. But if my mama got word from one of my neighbors that I was, being disrespectful out of line, you best believe I got the brake shoe beat off me when I got home. And that's real talk. Nowadays, you can't even put your hands on the children. Now they and then guess what? They don't want you to discipline so they can discipline later. Jump back into the show, y'all. Y'all stay with me, man. Tap the screen, share the live.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet that the other stations are tuned in to.
Yo, my Radio Houston, MrBeGreatToday back in effect, man. Man, have an interesting topic here on my TikTok live, man. We're talking about, these, soft parenting, how it's leading to different things within today's society. And man, some people are definitely, bringing up some valid points, man. There's so many things that we need to do better as parents. And that's just the bottom line. We need to do better as parents. We need to make sure we are holding ourselves accountable when it comes down to raising our children. We can't pass the book off on the children, because children are only going to do or repeat what they already have learned at home. You know what I mean? So if you're not teaching your children about how to clean, how to cook, how to be respectful, showing manners, having morals and respect for the elders, when they get out here in the world and they trying to, Lord forbid, trying to vet a wife or a husband, they out here trying to get a job or a career or trying to go into a higher education, and you haven't given them the basic necessities in life, guess what? They're gonna fail. And since they're so accustomed to you coming to their rescue, they're not gonna know how to deal with it. They're not gonna know how to deal with it. And that's why you gotta make sure you guys are putting yourself or putting your children in the best situation as possible. And that's more or less being firm but fair. Tough love is not something that's considered abuse in my eyes, because if you don't discipline your children with tough love, with some limitations, setting boundaries in their life, letting them know that, hey, you need to stay in a child's place until it's time for you to start easing into it. Just like I was talking earlier, you gotta, in the beginning, you gotta set that thing firm. And then as they grow older, you start peeling away the parental guidance. As your child start getting to their preteens and you start letting them go and you start letting them do more things But you gotta always keep in the back of their mind all the things that you drilled into them over the years. To the way. Yeah, and man, I'm telling you, man, it's real out here, man. That's why we have to realize that so many of us, we're young parents. What's up, little Steve? I see you, man. Raleigh, North Carolina, checking in. But man, so many of us young parents, man, especially like my man, little Steve, man. He's a young father, and this show is especially directly to you, little Steve, and people in your situation. Set that foundation. Be firm on your children early on in life. Don't try to give them everything that you never had. Don't try to be their friend. It's all about setting those expectations, because a lot of things that are going on in today's time, in today's world, is all our parents' fault. It's the fault of the parent. We are the reason why so many of these kids are running rapid or going through so many different changes, because we're not holding ourselves accountable as parents. And it's hard, because we love our kids. You know, at me, I'm a loving parent. You know, I love my children, and we want the best for them, and we want to just show them unconditional love. But especially early on in life, you got to be firm with these kids. You got to set these expectations, set these boundaries, be straight up honest with your kid, right? Don't put yourself in a situation where you kiki and laughing and making everything a joke, and you know, don't take it serious, this parenthood serious, and then you find your child 10, 15 years later, they're before a judge. They on probation. They wearing leg monitors. They, God forbid, they really go behind the big wall and headed down the road for a prison sentence. There's so many of us, and I see it time and time again, where so many of us or so many of my peers, they just didn't have any type of structure when it came down to their upbringing. And there's a lot of times, you know, parents, I understand parents work, but that's why it's vital and it's very important that you set these boundaries early in life. The earlier, the better. Because if you let stuff slide, if you let things slide, you know, just let it go. You know, you let your child say what to you when you call their name. You're opening up a door of level of disrespect to all elders, because they can be disrespectful to you. Trust me, they're going to take it on to it. They're going to turn it up a notch when it comes to a perfect stranger. And a lot of people say, well, I'm not that strict. I'm not that old fashioned on my, you know. Okay, more power to you. Good luck. Good luck as they get into their older years, their preteen, their middle teenage years, and now they feel like, oh yeah, you know, they feeling themselves. They've gotten through puberty, and they feel like, oh, I'm a man, I know it all. I'm a woman, I got it together, you know, because you've given them that false premise, that false sense of reality that you created within your home environment, and now they get out here in the real world and think they're gonna act accordingly based on how you raised them. I think a guy even said, I seen a video the other day here on TikTok saying that, you know, you can tell the difference in whether a child comes from a one-parent household or a two-parent household. You know what I mean? And not to say, you know, one is better than the other, because I come from a single-parent household, and I like to say I came out okay. I came out decent, right? But I had to go through a lot of bumps and bruises just to get to where I am today. But when you have that both, and then being a two-parent household, it's important that the parents follow on a collective front. Whether you co-parenting or what, you got to be on a collective front. I don't care if you're mad at your spouse. I don't care if you feel like, you know, I don't care if you feel like you know you and your baby mama, baby dad, and y'all on bad terms. When it comes down to the children, it's important that you're on a collective front. It's important that y'all are saying the same thing. Whether you agree with them on a personal level, whether y'all together or y'all ain't together, when it comes down to the child, y'all got to be together. You can't split hairs when it comes to that, because then the child will use that as justification as to why they did or didn't do something, right? Yes, you know, Tony Head said, I think I'm a mixture of soft and firm. My children's mom is soft, then make me the bad guy. But that's okay. That's okay. If you're the bad guy, be the bad guy. Because guess what? The children will value that later on in life. That's okay. Because again, it's not about your children liking you now. It's not. I think that's the thing where a lot of us get caught up in it. And me, trust me, as a human being, we want our children to, you know, like us. But I'm gonna tell you, as a parent, it's not your job for your child to like you. As a matter of fact, your child should not like you. And especially in the early years, they should not like you. They got friends out there. Let them like them. But as a true parent that's trying to develop in them into a functional adult, it's not up for you to have your children. Your children shouldn't like you. Now they should love you because you're showing them love and you're nurturing and you're cherishing them. But your children should not like you. Your children shouldn't look at you as a friend. Your children should look at you as an ally who's going to come save them when they get into a troubling situation. You know what I mean? That's why it's important that you make sure you set those boundaries, that you set those expectations. And again, we are human, right? We especially we want the best for our children. We want our children to have that, loving heart. But at the same time, in the same breath, you can't be basing your life and your decision making on whether your children is going to like it or not. Because again, it's not a popularity contest. You're trying to raise a productive, functional adult. That's the goal as a parent. And in order to do that, they gotta not like you. For some part of, I promise you, you know how many times I contemplated run away from home? I done packed my bags, I'm ready to go and everything because my mama didn't do things that I was quote unquote like it. But now today, man, we got the best relationship in the world because now I understand the reasoning or the method to the madness, what she was doing and what she was putting into my life and what she was trying to get me to see. So many times we don't. A child is not supposed to understand why you are like you are because you're not including them on the reasoning sometimes. A lot of times people say, well, your children should be able to ask you why. No, there ain't no why. It's why because I said so. Now, I'm saying, I get it. You want your children to be able to express. You want your children to be able to understand. But I promise you, they're not going to understand when you're talking about something that's going to help them when it comes down to disciplinary actions. A lot of times, well, why can't I go to my friend's house? And I don't want to throw the friends up because they over there, they doing everything. They got this, that. It might be various reasons why they can't go. Or I just want you here with me. I don't know what's going on over there. You too young to even make a decision where you can or can't go. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of times, I get it. Me and my wife have this conversation where I want my child to be able to come to me and ask why. My daughter can't ask me why. It's why, I'll tell you later in life, but right now you're just gonna do what I say. And some people may say that's harsh. Some people may say that's not healthy. But I understand that I don't have to explain to a child the reason why I'm doing something. I run this household. I pay the cost to be the boss. You're gonna do what I say. Because if you don't set that foundation or set that expectation, they get themselves in a situation where they got to go to YDC or go to the prison. They can't ask them why. They can't ask them why I got to get up at 5 in the morning. They can't ask them why I got to eat at 12 o'clock and I ain't hungry. They can't ask them why I can't have, these types of different material or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they can't ask that question. So that's why it's important that you set that expectation and you be firm when you're talking about raising your children. There's so many things that we try to justify. We try to be our children's friend. That's not going to raise functional adults. That's not going to raise productive adults in the society because they have no boundaries. They feel like you place them in an adult conversation, an adult situation. They feel like they have the decision-making skills of an adult when that's so far from the truth. You're a child. You do what the parents and your elders say. And so many times, again, we talked about this earlier, the soft parenting. That is the biggest load of crap if I ever seen in my life. It's not. Life is just like this, Natalie Nicole just said, life is hard. You have to prepare a child for this world. That is so true. Because if you're trying to just make it seem like, oh, it's all peaches and cream, you're going to live the life, good life with the white picket fence, and you're going to go get your degree and get you a nice job, and everything's going to be fine. You're not going to, that's a lie. We all know that. It's a day-to-day process for a lot of us. Whether we go, how we're going to survive, especially nowadays with everything, inflation at an all-time high, wages are at an all-time low, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to navigate this world and make it through. But we're sending mixed emotions and mixed messages to our children saying that, oh, it's going to be okay because we're going to make it right. We're going to fix it. Mom and dad ain't always going to be around. What are you going to do then? And so many of us understand that for what it is. And I just want my listeners, I want you guys to understand that we got to prepare our children to be functional in this world that we live in. It's not a perfect world. It's not going to be all peaches and cream. It's not an easy world, but we have to set that expectation by setting boundaries. Being a disciplinarian in our children's life, telling our children no. Stop trying to give them everything. And one of the biggest things, raising our children to be materialistic demons. I'm just call it like it is. Teaching our children that, you need the latest and greatest. I'm gonna get you, man. My boys will tell you now. My boys are 24 and 21. They can tell you now. I ain't buy no Jordans. I bought light up shoes as long as I could because I didn't want them to value into material things because those things fade away. A lot of times you think about it. You got a child that wears size 2 in kids, and you go spend $50 on a pair of Jordans, and 2 months not from now they can't wear that $50 down the drain. When I can go to Walmart and get a light up shoe, they ain't gonna know the difference. But so many of us we want to place that we made it in life by putting our kids in designer. And then our kids grow up thinking that, hey, we rich or we got, and they're looking at other people when they, guess what? The most wealthiest people ain't wearing designer clothes. The brokest people are. And we feed that into our children where I don't wear that, I don't buy that, I don't do this. There's a guy on TikTok on following, man. He'll go to somewhere like Neiman's Marcus, and then he'll go to Walmart and find the exact same outfit, and it look just the same. He said the clothes don't make the man make the clothes. And there's so many, it's things like that, little small stuff like that we take for granted, that we don't feed over to our children. We think, oh, my child don't wear nothing but Nike, my child don't wear nothing but Dior, my child don't wear nothing, all this now. And we putting this in our children's head. And then they grow up in the world. They the girls, they in middle school. They can't keep their hands out their hair. They steady just pulling on they got these long 37-inch weaves and, makeup, nails. Go and get nails. Again, trust me, I got a daughter and I love it. I love being a girl dad. But it's certain things that we don't want to put into our children and have them having this false sense of reality about life, thinking they gotta have the latest and greatest, thinking they can handle adult situations, and here we are being Superman to their life. We gotta let these children grow through things. We gotta let these children deal with adversity. We can't always go to the school and jump down the teacher's throat. We gotta go over there and be right there on the collective front. Just like I say, mom and dad should be on the collective front with the children. Also, when you go to the school, you and the teacher should be on the collective front, especially in front of the child. Now, if it's something that you don't like, pull the teacher to the side. Look, I don't really agree with that, but I'm not going to disagree with you in front of the child because I don't want to compromise what we both are trying to do here. And those are adult conversations that we need to have in those types of settings. But so many times, we want to come up and be an ally. We want our children to like us. I wish I had a solid treatment my mama, acting like I'm mad. Man, please. You think my mama cares? She wouldn't skip a beat. And I think that's what it is. We're so accustomed to being our children's friend. We want our children to like us. Especially in early years, when the foundational years of life, it's not up for your children to like you. They are supposed to not like you. And I don't care what again, as they get older, you start pulling those disciplinary layers off. Like, they get a certain age. You ain't got to chastise them or so-called, what we call, get a whooping at a certain age. Because then you're trying to talk and you're trying to be analytical with them so they can actually start thinking for themselves. But in the beginning, I'm going to show you, I'm going to be firm but fair, and I'm going to be hard on you. Because I want to set you up for the expectation that my daddy don't play. Because guess what? This world don't play. Them cops don't play. The judicial system don't play. And if you don't set that fear into them, that they're going to have to face some type of consequences, they'll go out here in the real world and think they ain't got no consequences to face. Oh, my dad or my mama just gonna come get me. And they can find themselves in a situation where mama and daddy can't do nothing for them. And that's why it's imperative for you guys to stay on top of the game, stay on top of being a true mother and father to your children, a true parent. So you don't have these children just out here doing like they did Cam Newton this weekend, which is asinine. You got an NFL great, a Heisman Trophy winner, and you want to fight this man. I guarantee you those kids come from a household with no discipline, no type of boundary set. Everybody is all about pleasing the child. I'm gonna make sure my child got that. I promise you, we got to do better as parents. And until we do better as parents, we're gonna continue to produce the type of children that's being produced out here in today's world, today's society. And we gotta hold ourselves accountable. We gotta admit our wrongdoing. I understand we gotta work. A lot of times people want to say, I gotta work, I gotta do that. I get that. But you guess what? Those same people you working for, they at home raising their kids. They taking their time off when they need to be off. There's so many times in my past, I tell these folks, look, I gotta take care of my kids. And guess what? If you keep a positive mindset about life, and I don't care what nobody say, or you may agree or disagree with it, but if you constantly worry on how you gonna do this and how you gonna do that, it ain't gonna never get done. You got to have an optimistic mindset about everything. I spoke about that earlier, man. You got to learn how to speak life into your life with positive words. So a lot of times we want to say, well, I can't do this because I got to do this and do it. As soon as you say I can't, you can't. So if you're basing, the things you got to do in life and making an excuse for it and saying, well, I can't do that because I got to go to work. I can't do that. Showing up, being there for your kids, being always hands-on with your children, because at the end of the day, that's your legacy you're leaving behind. Are you going to leave a brat behind? You going to leave a child with no morals, no values, no respect behind because you got to work? And again, I'm not saying don't work. But what I'm saying is you got to learn how to prioritize your life. And at certain points in your life, your children are your first priority. I understand we got to take care of them, we got to provide for them. But you also got to set them up to be functional adults. And so many of us try to make excuses and use a scapegoat as to reasoning why we can't. It can be done, but it all starts up here. So many of us have the negative mindset or the worration mindset of, whoa. But you say you got faith. You say you believe in a higher power. You say you believe in God. You think this, that, and the third. But when it comes down to certain situations, all that go out the window. Oh, no, I got to do. Oh, I can't, Come on. Where's that faith? Where's that mustard seed faith that you need to make sure that you're in the right mindset so you can do the things that you need to do in life? And it starts by, the first thing you need to do, if you got offspring, you got kids, set those expectations. Be real with yourself. Be real with your kids. All right? We're going to keep this show rolling on, man. We got Ola Fifth Ward Guard, man. Future Brewer Boy, Pain, man, coming up. Also followed by some throwback classic, man. Salt and Pepper Push, Tila Show Enough, and Webby Independent, man. Y'all stay with the kid. This must be great today on My Radio Houston, holding it down on the SDR network. It's Monday, y'all. Let's keep rocking. Let's get it, y'all. Peace.
Goddamn, man. Y'all been through so much more here, man. We deserved it. Always and forever. CEO back. Shout out my nigga Rule, The Don, Smooth, Nito, Black Boy, see you.
K-Dub.
Been had.
Yeah, man. Y'all need to stay with it, man. Stay on your parenting skills. Making sure you guys are holding yourself accountable when it comes down to raising your children. Because I tell you, man, life ain't easy. Life ain't perfect. You're not the perfect parent, but I guarantee you can put yourself make the situations for your child more realistic. We can't give them this false sense of reality. We can't give them this false premise of everything gonna be all right. When we're gonna have to deal with adversity, we're gonna have shortcomings. We're gonna have things that not go according to plan. But if you're always, Captain Save-A-Hole, jumping right in, you gotta be the solution to everything that they going on in life. Even to the point where kids may have disagreement with other kids and parents getting involved. Like, a lot of times, man, parents make situations so much worse because they give these kids this sense of, entitlement. They give them this sense of, I'm right. My mama said I'm right. My daddy said I'm right. We got to start being a true ally for our kids in a sense that we're not there to always agree with them. If you're agreeing with everything your child is saying, you're a yes man or a yes woman. You're in agreement with everything they do. Oh, my child ain't did nothing like that. My child ain't did nothing like that. Come on, man. You're doing your kids a disjustice, a disservice. And so many of us don't see it until it's too late. Until they in them handcuffs. They crying in front of the judge. And get what that judge gonna say? Oh, unfortunately, no bond, tap. 360 days in the YDC tap. And guess what? They gotta go there and listen to somebody dead. When all you had to do was make them listen in the beginning. When all you had to do was set those boundaries and expectations in the beginning. And it starts with you, parents. It starts with you. These children didn't become this way by themselves. They didn't become this way by watching TV. They didn't come this way listen to the music. They came this way because you didn't set no boundaries, because you didn't put no expectations on what they had to do. You just gave them. No accountability on their behalf as far as cleaning up their room, washing dishes, cutting the grass. These kids don't have to do none of that. All they get to do is sit in their room and play their game and play on their devices. And play, girls, go get their hair done, go get their nails done. Go to the mall and buy designer and they got everything they need. Make sure they got all the latest and greatest. but they ain't got nothing up here. They ain't got no sense of morals and respect and value. All because you didn't give it to them. You know, people always say common sense ain't common. You know why it ain't? Because common sense is taught. Common sense is something you have to teach. You know, I never forget when my mom raised it up. I might ask a dumb question, or whatever, right? And my mama would say, use common sense, boy. And I'm thinking like, okay, so I need to use common sense. So in essence, that's something I'm supposed to know. So it has to be taught. A lot of times people think common sense just drop out the sky and drop into your head and you got it. Common sense ain't common because it's not being taught anymore. People are not teaching their children common. That's common. Use your common sense. Y'all remember your parents used to say stuff like that. Use your common sense, boy. That's basically she was telling you, or your father was telling you, that's something you already should know. That's something you should know. And then now it dawns on you, I'm supposed to know that. Oh, I know not to, Why are you walking in the street? Why using common sense? Why you slap you upside the head? Okay, I know not to walk in the street. Right? So again, I'm telling you, man, we got to make sure we're sticking firm on raising our children the right way. Let me use this restroom right quick, man. I'll be right back. Got the music still rocking. Y'all stay with me, man. Stay with me. Share that line, tap the screen.
I'll be everywhere, man. But I'm always here. So much sitting in the heart of me. I ain't asking, I'm telling niggas to pardon me. As I think, what if them bullets hit an artery, or even worse, a headshot, and mama had to call for me? It's only facts, dirt digs never started beef. I only slaughtered beef, I bet a nigga never saw us weak. DMC, I put the G in G, ain't no talk with me. I bang, bang, bang for the gang and do my own shooting. It's me and Trey, we hold it down as we lead the movement. Steady moving, well aware what needs improvement. Keep it coolin', never worried what people doing. Had to beat a couple cases on me. Couple Johns turned stranger on me. Got the bank with no bang on me. I can feel when it's danger on me. And trying to kill, don't change it on me. We kill each other, but we run from police. This shit's backwards. For what I stand for, I leave the surface. I ain't been writing, but the beat was perfect. So much that I ain't need no feature verses. I'm dream chasing till my feet is hurting. If you don't live, you defeat the purpose. Stand up like your knees is working. You got it locked, but your key ain't working. You counting money, but your people's hurting. Scared of death, but you keep on flirting. You doing this shit, keep your purses. That's why I never been a people person. As I see it worsen, and all the stupid shit that people worship. My gang free, I don't need your purchase. Just got a text and she need it urgent. Beat the up till it need a surgeon. Shouts to my kids, cause they keep me working. Until that car wreck, they keep me hurting. Until that hen dog, they keep me cursing. Far from perfect, but worth it. At least I shook all them evil words. So can't no nigga talk down on me. Nah, it ain't the bitch that can clown on me. Nah, you looking for a certain sound on me. Nah. Look, I've been in gear, cooler than Frigidaire. I push the limit, nothing timid here. Ready to die like big in here. Flight check, bitch, I'm in the air. And night check, meaning get aired. I really lived it, they ain't even visit. Just write shit that sound good for riches. Ain't here to judge, but this shit is sickening. But listen, don't get hype with me. I check your glucose and play it cool though. But how does you know? I've been too broke.
Yo, back, man. But yeah, man. Just let's stay with it, y'all. Let's make sure we bear some great parents. Hey, wifey, I see you on there, girl. How you doing, sweet love?
So give me kudos for surviving the shit that you wrote.
Yeah, man. Y'all tap that screen, share the live.
I'll never call a woman a bitch, but if she gon' head, and that's just what it is. My mother died, and I'm all in tears, apologizing for all them years of resentment for growing up a damaged kid. I ain't know the damage then to turn me to the man I am. I hope I make you proud and get a fake your smiles, and I'll die if one of my sons is ever friggin' found. Streets wild and the game tainted. I talk to him like my picture painted. when we all faded. I go to Allah to get my straightening. Being rich within is what I'm chasing. And I pray my niggas never hating. This is greatness and it take patience. I pay attention how my kids aging. Turning boys to men is what I'm facing. Inshallah, I could see him make it. Inshallah,
Yeah, man.
I could see him make it.
Yeah, man. Y'all make sure y'all stay tapped in, man. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, man. Right here going live on TikTok. The link is in my bio if you guys want to check out the station otherwise. But yeah, man, I'll tell you, man, it's all about great parenting skills. Parents got to hold ourselves accountable. Like, it's our job to produce some good quality product as far as young adults are. And a lot of times, and more times than not, we're just not doing it. We've gotten soft. We want to be our kids' friends. We don't want to ruffle no feathers. We don't want to hurt their feelings. Like my mom, man, damn your feelings. Yeah, man, Mr. Be Great Today, man, holding it down, man. We got a classic, salt and pepper classic. Push it, man. I know y'all don't know nothing about that. I'm telling my age right now, but y'all stay locked in with me, man. We got about another half hour, 20 minutes on the show on the line, man. This must be great today, midday motivation. Let's go. Yeah, man. So y'all, I'm for real, man. Like, I really hope this live gives you guys an idea of where our problems are when it comes down to our children and when it comes down to today's youth. And mainly what it is us as parents not. I know about that track, Euphoria. I know all about that track. But it's all about us not really holding ourselves accountable. It's about us not really putting our best foot forward when it comes down to parenting our children. There's so many instances, so many different variables and scenarios in our lives that we create the monster that we have in today's society. We create why our children are acting as such because we are so busy trying to make sure they look good, trying to make sure, you know what I mean, that they, and really our children, a lot of people use their children as a billboard for their quote unquote life. They want to, if my children wear Polo and my children wearing, Nike every day and this, then that let them, oh, I'm on my shit, I'm doing my job. Oh, my child don't wear nothing but this. But what your child got up here? What type of respect does your child have for society and his elders and their teachers and their, even their employers? Like where is that? How high of that? How much designer attitude is you giving your child? So many of us want to put designers on their back, but not putting designer in their mind as far as the way they act and how they treat other people. And we wonder why. We have these these kids, especially the younger generation. Again, I'm not harping on this saying all young kids are bad, because we got some bright lights throughout there, right? It's kind of like the night sky. There's many bright stars out there, but the vast of it is dark. And we gotta, and it starts at your household. It starts in your house with your children. And again, you gotta stop trying to be these children's friends. Stop trying to make them like you. Stop trying to make them, stop seeking their approval. You know what I mean? It's a sad day, you know what I mean? Because, even to something as simple, and I think I said it earlier, even if something as simple as parents are now asking their children, what do you want to eat today? As if they got a choice in how much, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't, I was always, on my end, it was always me, Mom, what we eating today? Not my mama asking me what y'all want to eat today. You feel what I'm saying? I can understand if it was a special occasion, a birthday, you done did good in school, or you done, you didn't hit or accomplish, task or whatever. But as far as every day, a lot of parents are asking their children, what do you want to eat? MyRadioHouston, holding it down on the SDR network. It's Mr. Be Great Today, midday motivation, man. The show is coming to an end today, man. It's been a great show talking about our parenting skills, talking about, the parents being held accountable as far as the reason why a lot of the situations that are going on in today's youth. And I really want my listeners, I want you guys to understand that it's not just a ploy or a downplay of your job and what you're doing, but I just want you to understand the importance of you being a developer of life, a developer of these kids in today's time. You know, we've been talking about the Cam Newton situation. If you guys haven't heard, a video went viral yesterday of these, young youth jumping on Cam Newton, which was really embarrassing in my opinion. Just to see, you got the audacity to swing on Cam Newton of all people. This is an embarrassment within the black community, if you ask me. It's a straight up embarrassment, and people, and it comes down to what I've been talking about all morning on the show is parent accountability. And who's to say that those guys weren't parents or coaches? They probably were. There's a few. I think I've seen a few look like young guys, but a lot of times they're just regurgitating what they heard from their parents. Cam Newton is trash. Cam Newton is this. Cam Newton. This man is an accomplished National Football Player MVP. This guy's a Heisman Trophy winner, national champion winner. This guy's been to the Super Bowl, right? This guy is prestige when it comes down to quarterbacks in the NFL history. But yet and still, you make up in your mind that you want to fight this guy. And whether they were parents or young adults or players, it just shows that there's no real deal discipline or boundaries being set in the home. If you can fix yourself to go swing on an ex-NFL player in front of everybody out there, something is wrong on the forefront. Something is wrong at home. Something is wrong with the parenting skills in this situation. And so many times we don't want to hold ourselves accountable. Oh, that kids, boys will be boys, kids will be, I get that, I understand that. But what have you done as a parent? What about parents will be parents? So many of us don't want to hold ourselves accountable. So many of us don't want to look at the real issue about what is the why. There's so many things happen in life. Good things happen to bad people. Bad things happen to good people, right? Vice versa. It goes both ways. But what is the why? Why is this happening? Why is we got a whole video going out around the internet today of these young black males jumping on Cam Newton? Why is that? I can't think of one reason. It starts in the home. It starts in the parenting skills. It starts with the children understanding that you got to respect your elders. Like, I don't care. A lot of times what people do is they put their personal feelings in front of logic, in front of, the morals, the values, and respect of life. Just because you don't like a person personally doesn't mean that you have to be disrespectful. You can agree to disagree on many different things. But we've got into this whole, social media driven world where everybody is so highly opinionated about matters that they don't understand that you got to get back into the meat and potatoes of life. You got to get back to the basics. And so many times we want to focus on the mall and the designer clothes, and we don't want to focus on what we put in our children's head. We don't want to focus on the types of things that we're teaching our children, whether it be directly or indirectly. So many times we talk so freely around our children like they ain't got two ears on the side of their head. We talk so freely about any and everybody and everything right in front of the children. And then we wonder why our children, now guess what your children are going to do? Your children are going to imitate what you do. The old saying goes, don't do what I do what I say. That doesn't work. That does not work at all. Children are going to do what you do, and they're going to replicate it, and they're going to increase it probably 3-4 times versus what they see you do. If they see you being blatantly disrespectful to authority figures, they see you being blatantly disrespectful to their mother or father, they see you being blatantly disrespectful to your job and whomever, what do you think they're going to do when they get put in a similar situation? They're going to take it up a notch. They're going to be blatantly disrespectful to their elders, to the security guard at the mall, to the lunchroom lady at school, to the bus driver on the way to school. Just no, because they feel like they're in a hierarchy. They feel like they up here with their parent. They can do this. And as that perpetuates and that continues to fester and grow into their lives, guess what? It gets worse and worse. It's like a snowball effect. It gets rolling and rolling and rolling. And now you got, by the time they get 15, 16, you got a straight monster. You got someone who has no respect for authority, has no respect for their elders, has no respect for anyone, not even self-respect. And that's why we're dealing with so many issues in today's society, especially in the black community, where we're not training these children up to where they can go. We're not setting those boundaries. We're so busy on trying to be likable. We're so busy on trying to impress the world as far as, look how cute my child is. Look at what they got on. Look at this. Oh, look at it. He got it on. Put it on. You know, all this. When they ain't got nothing up here. They ain't got no real deal sense of who they are, what they're supposed to do as a child, what they're supposed to do when women are in the room that they're young men. They need to pull their pants up. They need to, not using all types of cuss words and things like that. We ain't teaching that part, because guess what? We're expressing that same behavior right in the front of our children, right like they ain't there. And we talk, even be on that phone talking to their, your girlfriends or guy friends or whatever, and you just speaking so freely and talking about all types of situations. Your children sitting right there listening to you, right? We're focusing so much on our phones. We sitting all day on our phones, and our children just doing whatever. Oh, they quiet. They back there in that room on that game, and don't tell them what they into, right? We're not making our children go out here and do things. Children don't even have chores anymore. Children don't understand what it's like to wake up on Saturday morning and they got Freddie Jackson playing. You already know. You finna be cleaning. They don't understand how to clean baseboards. they don't know how to clean. You know what I mean? They don't know what it's about dusting. You know what I mean? They don't understand what a mop is. They don't know you got to rain it, but they don't understand to cut grass. It's so many different things. We made it so easy for these kids. They don't understand no type of responsibility. And we got to understand that it's our job to feed and pour into these children. It's our job to give them the game. It's our job to make them see life, that it's not an easy thing. And we shouldn't be making it so easy for them. And so many times and time again, we would keep repeating the same cycle over and over again because we want to quote unquote do this soft parenting thing. And we create these soft people, these soft human beings. They can't function without that phone. They can't function without, I can't wear that. They can't even wear a certain type of clothes because it ain't got an R, because it ain't got Ralph Lauren on the front of it. There's certain things they can't do. Oh, I can't wear that. Oh, my hair ain't done. I can't go nowhere. Because they ain't got a 27-inch wig on. They ain't got long, all types of designs on their fingernails. There's so many different things, but we're not pouring into them as to what they should, how they should act, how they should speak, how they should, carry themselves when they're in a public setting. And it's a sad day. And again, I'm not going to blame these kids because they're only going to do what they're taught. They're only going to do what's being taught to them within the household. And a lot of us as parents, we're not doing our job. We drop the ball. We let YouTube raise our kids, right? And we just let them follow us. We let them sit around and gulp up all the negative connotations we got to say about topical discussions, the way we talk to our friends around our children, the way that we talk about life, dropping our problems off on our children. I got to pay rent this month. I got to do this. I got to do that. That ain't a child place. That's not something you discuss or even put in a child's presence. Child should have no forbearing on what you got going on financially. They ain't got nothing to do with them growing up. Your job is to create an environment where they understand how to interact with people, how to be sociable. These kids now are so antisocial. They don't even know how to hold a conversation. They got their head down. They looking at the floor when they talking to you, talking out the side of their neck, because you haven't taught them that, hey, look me in my eyes when I'm talking to you. Stop dropping your head. That was one of the main things I tried to, pour into my boys. Like, look, man, look me in my eyes when you stop dropping your head, because they're already. You gotta put that fear in them. You gotta make them do it. And so many of us, we want to. Oh, come here, baby, come here. Don't cry. I get it. I'm not saying don't love your children, but you got to put some fear in them. You got to instill some boundaries. You got to instill some discipline and make them understand about respecting the elders and respecting others in general. Everybody from the janitor to the CEO, you got to treat them the same way with respect. And so many of us, it's a lost art nowadays. It's a lost art, true enough. But I appreciate y'all tapping in with me today, man. I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, 1 to 3 Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, man, today's show is brought to you by Everbright, the #1 solar provider here in the state of Texas. Allow homeowners to go solar with no out-of-pocket costs, no loans, no financing required. It's called PPA, a purchase power agreement, where you can Get away from the inflation, get away from the periodic rate hikes, and pay fixed lower solar payment for 12 months out of 12 months. It doesn't go up in the summer, go down in the winter. You're not going to be on that roller coaster. If you got any questions, any concerns, feel free to drop me a DM or hit me on the line, area code 404-621-6532. That is Mr. Be Great Today. Let you guys know we are sponsored by Everbright, #1 solar provider here in the state of Texas. And give you guys, all you homeowners out there, at least get this free report to see if your homes even qualify, because every home doesn't qualify for this new program where you don't pay anything out of pocket. You don't have to take out any type of loan or any type of financing. You can go solar and get a fixed rate for the rest of your life. And that's true. Real stuff. Y'all, okay, cool. Definitely, thank you, Miss Natalie Nicole. But definitely reach out to me. I'll definitely help you guys out with that new PPA program. But it's been great today. Great topic of discussion. Great music. Great listeners. I appreciate you guys, staying with me on these past 2 hours, man. But I'm going to get up out of here, head out here into these H-Town streets. Hope my wife got something good to eat when I get home. I don't want no leftovers. Appreciate you, little Steve, man. Thanks for tapping in with me, man, for real, man. Hope you go back and take some tidbits out of here, man, when you're talking about being a young father. It's a hard thing to do in some cases, but you got to be hard on your kid. Raise that little boy right. Don't be trying to be his friend. Don't try to, make him like you in the beginning. You already know you was raised right. You understand how Big Steve did you. So that's what it's all about, man. It's all about setting those expectations, setting those boundaries, setting those limitations on what they can and can't do, what they can and can't say. And be careful what you say around your children. Very, very important, because they're going to take it in. If they see you being, overly loud and disrespectful, they're going to do the same exact thing, man. Appreciate that, Big Chaser on Go. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. But y'all make sure y'all stay tapped in with me, man. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon to 2 Central Standard Time, 1 to 3 Eastern Standard Time, man. It's been a great day, man. Let me get out here. Looks like it's going to be another beautiful day in the H-Town, man. I love y'all, man. I appreciate your time. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. We're going to finish the show up, man. We got some Middle Georgia boys. We got some niggas Phoenix. Got to eat some old school Master P, man. We rocking out like that today, man. But, yeah, man, I'll be back here Wednesday morning, man, 12 to 2. And I love you all. And you already know. Be great today. Peace.
Hey, Speed Man, the block leader, man. I'm still twerking my motherfucking beat in my motherfucking off, man, to the end, man. I know this like back in my hand. Hey.